Let me ask you something honest. When you are talking to a woman you find attractive, are you actually in the conversation? Or are you somewhere slightly above it, watching yourself, monitoring every word before it leaves your mouth, calculating how she is receiving you, wondering if you sound interesting enough, cool enough, confident enough? If you are being real with yourself, it is probably the second one. And that gap, that distance between you and the actual moment, is the single biggest reason conversations with women feel forced flat or like they are going nowhere. Today I am going to fix that, not with lines, not with a formula you memorize and perform, but with a genuine understanding of what makes conversation magnetic and what kills it before it even starts. Let us begin with the root of the problem. Most men approach conversation with a woman the same way they approach a job interview. They are trying to prove something. They are managing their image. They are selecting words based on what they think she wants to hear rather than what they actually think. And the cruel irony of that approach is that it produces the exact opposite result they are looking for. When you are performing, she feels it. Not consciously, subconsciously. There is a mismatch between your energy and your words. You seem tense where you should be relaxed. You laugh slightly too fast. You agree slightly too easily. You volunteer information about yourself that nobody asked for because somewhere in your mind you are building a case for why you're worth her time. And all of that signals one thing loudly. This man needs my approval. Here is the reframe that changes everything. The goal of conversation is not to impress her. The goal is genuine exchange. Two people who are both present, both curious, both willing to be honest. That is it. And the man who shows up to a conversation with that as his only agenda is immediately different from every other man she has spoken to that week. So how do you actually get there? It starts with one internal shift. Stop making her the most important thing in the room. Not because she is not interesting. Not because you should be arrogant or dismissive. But because the moment any person becomes the center of your emotional universe, you lose your grounding. You start orbiting them instead of standing in your own space. And a man without his own ground beneath him has nothing solid to offer a conversation. When you walk in as someone who is genuinely okay whether this goes well or not, something relaxes in you. Your voice settles. Your eye contact becomes steady instead of searching. You stop filling silence with noise because silence no longer threatens you. That shift in your internal state changes your entire presence before you say a single word. Now let's talk about the actual conversation. The first thing to understand is that great conversation is not about being interesting. It is about being interested. There is a profound difference. A man trying to be interesting is always performing. A man who is genuinely interested is fully present. And presence is one of the rarest things you can offer another human being. Ask real questions. Not interview questions. Not surface questions designed to fill space. Questions you are actually curious about. What does she care about deeply? What does she find fascinating that most people overlook? What has shaped how she sees the world? These questions open people up in a way that small talk never can. And when someone feels genuinely seen in a conversation, they do not forget it. The second thing is to stop over-explaining yourself. Many men, especially when they are nervous, talk too much about themselves. They over-justify their opinions. They add layers of context that were never needed. They fill every silence with more words. This comes from the same place as everything else we have discussed. The need for approval. The fear that if they stop talking, she will lose interest. Here is the truth. Restraint is compelling. Mystery is not a trick. It is a natural byproduct of a man who does not feel the need to hand over everything about himself in the first 30 minutes. You do not have to be secretive or evasive. Just do not volunteer what was not asked for. Let her be curious. Curiosity is the engine of attraction. The third thing is to get comfortable with your own perspective. One of the most attractive things in conversation is a man who has actual opinions and stands behind them, not aggressively, not to dominate, but clearly. A man who agrees with everything, who softens every position the moment he senses resistance, who shapes his views around what she seems to want to hear, is communicating that he has no real center. And a man without a center is not interesting to be around. You are allowed to disagree respectfully. You are allowed to say that is not how I see it. You are allowed to hold your ground while remaining warm. That combination, warmth and groundedness together, is rare and it is magnetic. The fourth thing is to stop being afraid of silence. Silence in conversation is not failure. It is breathing room. It means neither of you felt the need to fill the space with noise just to avoid discomfort. When you can sit in a moment of quiet without reaching for your phone or rushing to say something, anything, just to escape the stillness, you communicate something powerful. You are comfortable. You are not performing. You are just here. That comfort is contagious. she relaxes into it too. And relaxed conversation is where real connection actually happens. Here is the summary underneath all of this. The man who masters conversation with women is not the one with the best lines or the sharpest wit or the most perfectly calibrated body language. He is the man who shows up fully present, genuinely curious, grounded in his own identity, and completely unbothered by whether the conversation goes perfectly or not. That combination is so rare that when a woman encounters it, she notices, not because of what you said, but because of how it felt to talk to you. And that feeling is what she carries with her long after the conversation ends. If this is the kind of content that actually challenges how you think, subscribe. Every week, I break down the real psychology behind attraction, communication, and what it actually takes to become a man who connects deeply without performing or pretending. The next video goes even further. We are talking about why most men kill attraction not in the first conversation, but weeks in, and the specific habits that cause it. That one will hit hard. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it.